Good morning, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone's having a great start to their day, having a great week. Yeah, we're gonna kind of get into things today a little bit earlier than we normally do. Again, always just let me know if the music is all right or if it's too loud. Just let me know. So, the weekly chart, we were talking about aiming for this on Monday and Tuesday, even coming down here. I believe on Tuesday we're looking for this. We came back up into this order block. Yesterday we had expansion down below. I'm looking to see if we can continue to take out this low and end up trading a little bit lower. That's will be my expectation for today. Hopefully we don't do all that too quickly, but that's my expectation. I'll be looking for this low, 19,730.75. That's where I'd be looking for. If we can get that, we initially had SMT here with the bodies, but then the wick came up here. It does the damage, but I'm still looking at that as heavy. This price wanting to trade a little bit lower. That's my thought process here. We do have news we do have a speaker. See, this I'm not necessarily a fan of. Let me just look at where we are, because again, having to see how far away we are from the closing price of yesterday just gives us an idea of what we could potentially be looking for today. So just want to look to see how far away we are. Again, if we're inside of 40 handles, which I don't believe we are, so anything less than this, pretty much we're gonna have to wait until 10 o'clock to do anything. Again, we are looking for lower prices. We had to respect, this is nothing. We had to respect the new day opening gap from today. So hopefully we see a lot of weakness and just kind of just roll over. That's what we'll be looking for in today, or for today. We're looking for this low to get taken out. We already have this one. It already has been taken out. The next low I see, at least on a weekly level, where we could be targeting, would be this 19,730.75 level. So I'm going to put that over here so we know what that is. Make it purple. Oh yeah, let's do the whole thing purple. So that's what that is. This is supposed to be the 1 minute chart. So again, this is the low. This is the previous day's low. We're very close to it. This is a nice breaker setup here, entering there and just looking for this. This is inside of a macro as well. So we're probably very likely to get that, have that happen after hitting a 15-minute order block. You see how everything is matching up over here. That's the type of setups that I really like and enjoy. But yeah, so that's the thought process right now based off of what we're seeing here. Again, liking downside objectives today. I don't think we're going to get a TGIF scenario, but it's possible. I'm more likely to think, because look at the bodies. The bodies didn't even close up there and they hit the 1 hour order block. Okay, let's go to the hourly chart here. So there's the 1 hour order block there. You have the fair value gap. Look how the bodies are being respected and staying lower. So it's also what I like to see in my trades. So hopefully we'll be able to wait, maybe come up here before going down a little bit lower, but again, we'll see what happens here. I think I just wanted to make sure if we took this low out. So we didn't take that low out there yet. Again, everything is kind of looking heavy and bearish right now. We do have to be aware. I did check the economic calendar. We do have Fed Powell speaking at 12:30. So again, if I'm not seeing anything that I like to see in the charts, I will kind of just go until potentially maybe 11 o'clock. And if that's the case, and there's nothing there, I will end up trading the PM session. I will not do it live, but I will trade it by myself if that is the case. Hopefully that's not what we get, but I am just aware of that being a potential of happening today. So we've already taken out the NFP So let's do this. So this is the NFP low, or they would call it data lows. So we've taken out data lows. This would be bottom left. So these are the data lows. We've taken them out already. Right here, and then so oops, what's left in terms of the data highs will be up here. So those would be data highs. So we've taken the low out on both. Let's go to this one. See how we've taken the data lows out on both. So again, that's congruency there. We're seeing similar things happening on both. So that's what we like to see in our trades. It should be on the 15-minute chart. This needs to be interval below. Interval below, just so we have that and we see that, we notice that these are the lows, and so we know that the lows have been taken out, so I'll make it a little bit of a lighter color there. This is always the first presented fair value gap when that forms, and so I'm just looking at that right now. How's everyone's week been so far? So just keep an eye out on here, and then in the trade here. So again, right now we have this 5-minute order block here. So are we getting some respect from it after trading up into here, which overlaps with this 1-minute order block? So can we see it trade softer and trade down below here? That's what I would be looking for. You have a little bit of a fair value gap there with this order block that lines up with this 5-minute one. So this could be a nice pre-session scalp and see if you can get down to there. Again, not necessarily my taste, but does offer 70 handles at least. So it's there. It offers an opportunity, but I don't trade before 9:30, so yeah, that's pretty much what I would be looking at. And pretty much if you said I have to trade right now, I would see this gap with this breaker here. After hitting this, trade into this gap, and I would expect it to take out this low. That low is the previous day's low. Let's put that over to the right. I'm just going to put PDL. That's previous day's low. So based on where we are, that's what I would expect. I don't think that we had previous day low taken out on, no we did not. So there's no previous day low taken out there. So we're still good there. I would want to see us trade a little bit to the downside. My preference, I would like to see this get targeted, but if we come up first, that's okay. We have this inverse gap, so we could use this again. Wouldn't necessarily want to see it, but it's possible. We have this inverse fair value gap. I'm gonna note it there. Where is IFEG? So there's the inverse fair value gap here. Again, since I'm looking for downside objectives, I'm looking for discount arrays, premium arrays to be respected. So we did go up one more time. We do have this 5-minute order block here that hit this breaker. This technically would be a propulsion block because we have these up close candles here calm down. We traded back up into it and expanded away. But with it being ahead of the 9:30 news driver, I'm not necessarily as interested in taking that right now. We also have Powell speaking at 12:30, so we have to be aware of that. We have a speaker. I'm really not interested in trading too much ahead of a speaker unless this is very, very clean. That's going to be my sign to end up probably trading later. If it's going to present itself, it'd be after 12:30 if we don't get anything pretty early. That's what I would be waiting for, and that's what I would be trying to do. So the data lows have been already taken out, and they've been taken out on both of them. Let's go to this chart. So this is the data lows. They've both been taken out on ES as well as NQ. So we're seeing similarity there. And the SMT with the bodies, with the wicks, you see that? This is a news driver. So I'm kind of almost negating that, but I'm looking at this. So we'll see here what we're going to end up getting today. Again, I would like to see us if we can drive down below here. This is a like weekly level. I already transposed it on the other one. I don't need it there. This level down here is the weekly low that you just saw me delete there. That would be a aggressive target. Will we get that today? I don't know. But I would expect us to see if we can try to trade down to here. So we do have this gap up here that overlaps with this IFVG. It's a little bit deeper inside. So if we get up here and then maybe some type of a reaction and displacement away, that could be a good opportunity for a shorting opportunity down to take this low out, because we have enough range from up here to down there. There's enough range for that. Remember, the range that I'm looking for is 50 handles. So if it can offer me at least 50 handles, and my favorite thing is when it can offer 50 handles before reaching the low. But again, something that I am realizing as well is I have to be wary of how close we're getting to this, because as we get closer to this and we're less than, like I will say, 50 handles, I'm starting to get into a range where I have to wait until 10. So pretty much anything less than this right here at the time of the market open, I will have to wait until 10 o'clock to take anything. So that could be a potential for today, and honestly today could also not be very, very clean ahead of the speech with Powell. So I am going to be a little bit more cautious with that, and it has to be like an A+++ setup for me to take it. It has to be very clear, as obvious as well. So that will be the criteria for me to take a trade before Powell speaking, because if he is speaking, I don't want to get caught up in choppiness. And it's not the fact of what he's saying. What he's saying doesn't matter. It's just the fact that he is talking, and so they use news drivers as a opportunity to mess with the market. That's essentially all they're doing when it comes with news events. I don't care what they say. What they say doesn't necessarily matter. It's just that's when they use them as smoke screens. So that's why I like to look at the economic calendar, and I'll show it to you today. If I can pull it up. This to me is just a little bit of a concern that it's at 12:30. So we've already had NFP. We've seen that happen, but we have this at 12:30, which could invite choppiness into the market. And then we have Trump speaking at 3 p.m. It's not going to really matter in terms of the trade, in my opinion. So that's what we're kind of looking at right now. That's what's on the menu for today. So we know we've seen data lows, we have data highs. Let's get back to this chart so we can kind of see everything. But 6 minutes until the market opens. Again, the closer we start to get up here, the more I'm going to have to wait until 10 o'clock and wait for a setup to occur around that time if it is able to. Again, we have respect up here. This is inside of the, I guess I'll show you guys some other things of what I look at. You might So this is called it's called NDOG, or the new day opening gap. So every day from 6, pretty much it's from 4:59 until 6 o'clock, there will be a gap. And so I'm watching this gap, and I'm watching to see how are we respecting this and how are we responding to this. So I have this on another screen that allows me to see this. So like, again, I'm looking at the bodies. The wicks do the damage, but I'm watching the bodies. Look how the bodies have stayed in the lower portion of this gap. So we also had SMT here. So this is letting me know, okay, I'm looking for lower prices. Just looking off of this. And then we have a previous day's low right there. So I'd want to see if we can reach, if we reach up a little bit higher. Again, we have this inverse fair value gap, but I want to see us reach down there. So these are things that I'm looking at in managing while I'm in the trade that you guys don't necessarily see. So I have that, and then I have the new week opening gap. I'll show you that as well, but that is not really relevant right now because you'll see how far away we are from it. So that's why you haven't seen me mention it at all, right? We're too far away from this for this to be of any concern for me. So I don't, I'm not really talking about that because it doesn't necessarily matter that much for our trades, for our current trades. So yeah, those are just some things that I look at that are on the side that you guys just don't see. But I'm managing and looking at all of them and how are we respecting them or how are we disrespecting them. That's also very important as well to see those things. So we'll see here what we're getting. Again, a nice turtle soup up into here. It'd be nice, honestly, saw something like this, fail here, come up to here and do something like this. That to me would be something nice. But again, if this order block holds, it's just showing you how weak, how it's more likely to come down here, right? Because we're looking at this in terms of, okay, we've hit the 15-minute order block, we're on top of this, we have a fair value gap here with this breaker, a 1-minute order block that is inside of this 5-minute order block. So if it's going to have a lot of weakness, it should trade down to here. But I don't trade pre-market, so I would not be in this trade ever. But this is a valuable setup. I just want to see it go a little bit higher before doing this first. Hey, what's good, teacher? Yeah, W's in the chat. What's good, teacher? Yeah, so again, previous day's low I think is the target. I would have liked to seen this after the 9:30 opening, but I'm believing probably at 9:30 we shoot down here because we're showing weakness here. Where the body's closed here is also important. Let's get this back over so you can see it. The 1 hour fair value gap with the 1 hour order block as well. So down here is probably more likely to occur in all of them. Teacher, how's your trading week been? Taking any more trades since Wednesday? But yeah, I would like to see us fail here actually, and because I want to see us come up a little bit higher, disrupt all the people that are in early. That's what I want to see us disrupt, everyone that's in early, and then roll over. That would be my, that's what I would want to see. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but that'd be my expectations. We do have, so we are okay to trade before 10 o'clock, but I think we may just shoot down here. We're about like 7 seconds left, 5 seconds, and I think we'll just kind of shoot down pretty much from there. So there we are down here. So that gives us a good idea of where things are, and why I do this is so I know when it trades into the middle portion of this and when I can expect something there. That's why I do this. I have another screen that has this exact thing up, so it helps me see when that's going on. Okay, so now we know that we have come down here. I'd like to see it straight up a little bit higher, reject all of this, and then end up seeing if we can get something for us to trade a little bit lower and take out this previous day's low. That would be my expectation. Let me just look at so we do have slight SMT here at the bottom. Like if we go to this chart, you'll see it. This went lower, this did not show the same willingness to go lower. But again, we wait for the first presented fair value gap to form. So that's what we wait for in my trade specifically, and I want to see if we can run out a little bit of the highs. So we did fall a little bit short of consequent encroachment of the gap, but I'd like to see if we can trade up there a little bit. Again, I want to see us disrupt everyone that's in early. That's what I want to see us do, and then roll over. So everyone that's early to the party, take them out and then go lower. And we'll see if that's something that we can get today. Again, the first presented fair value gap doesn't form at 9:30. The earliest it can form is 9:31. So that's the earliest that it is able to form. We did hit the consequent encroachment right here. We did actually hit that. But I wouldn't necessarily take that trade right there. Not saying that's not possible. I just personally would not take that. I'm not thinking that we get a TGIF scenario, and TGIF pretty much means that we go back inside of the range that's created from Monday and the current day, the current week, the weekly low, the highest high and the lowest low within the week. If someone is talking about TGIF, that means that we're going to come back inside of the range to 20 to 30% of that range. That's what that means if you hear that. So again, we did have a little bit of SMT at the bottom. Remember that? We had this fair value gap there. But I want to see if we can, start to trade down there. Hopefully we don't get another day, just another choppy day, but that could be also an expectation just because we do have the speaker PAL at 12:30. So again, looks like we're about to trade up into this 15-minute order block. Again, we do have this wick here, so I'm watching that. Let's see what we get there. Looks like we could potentially have the first presented fair value gap form at 9:33. As long as we don't, close down immediately, then that's when it will form. So we don't have it forming at 9:33 yet. It closed in that gap. I would be surprised if we, honestly, we came down here and they go all the way back up here. It's possible, but not something that I would expect. Again, I'm not looking for TGIF, but that could be on the table for today. So we just fell short of the 15-minute order block. Maybe we can kind of scoot this in just slightly so we can see it on the 1-minute chart. It looks horrible on this chart. So we hit the 15-minute order block. What do we do once we trade there? Look how the bodies, at least right now, have shown respect. But let's see what we get here. I want to see what we do at this inverse fair value gap on the 5-minute chart. That's what I've been eyeing up to see how do we respond there. Remember, this would be technically a turtle soup. There's a high here, and then trading up into a up into a 5-minute inverse fair value gap. So I want to see what we do here. Trading through that is pretty impactful, and yeah, I think trading through that and closing through that on a 5-minute basis is important. So let's see what we get here, right? I want to see us respond to that, but again, we haven't created a first presented fair value gap yet. So even though I could see this and a nice shorting opportunity, it hasn't created what I wanted to see yet. So trading up into this and selling it is not my model, but you can see we did respond from it. We do have this fair value gap here, and then these order blocks here. So a nice area to short, just not for me yet. Not yet. I do like that reaction, but again, I have to wait for the first presented fair value gap. I can't just buy it or sell it. That's just my that's my rules. But I do like this. I do like this. So hopefully we don't just run lower, which is potential to do that. If we can create a gap here, right here, I would like that, and I would be willing to take it shorter or lower, but we need to create a gap and not just run straight away. That would be my thought process here, but we can't just run shorter. Because we do that, then probably not going to get the trade setup that would be favorable for us. Might have missed that. Okay, so we're in here. And I'm going to look for us to trade a little bit softer. I believe that that's the case. Again, could be wrong. Could have gotten probably a little bit too early. Could have just got tricked out, which it looks like it because we ran pretty much straight up. Yeah, I'm not necessarily really liking this right now, that response, but we'll see when we get here. Could be a very quick day. Yep. So, got stopped out here. Not the best, I can say. I thought that we had created down here, created this gap. I want to see us trade into it, but as you see, again, we did not even close below that. So, not necessarily happy with that, but you know, it came back up into, it traded pretty deep up into this and pretty much took a loss very quickly. It's another very quick day, and could have just got tricked out here. I like the reaction from here. We had a gap, and yeah, just again, not a great week in terms of execution, but found an area from here. We pretty much ran through this gap. So it actually looks like we may want to attack these highs. So I'm gonna wait until 10:15, 10:30, but I pretty much cannot take another trade pretty much until then. It just looks very choppy right now. Thought that with this excitement away from a level which we were expecting for us to move a little bit lower, could I had my stop loss too tight? Potentially, but I wouldn't think that it would be coming all the way back up here. I mean, pretty much got stopped out in the same candle. You know, it wasn't even didn't have any reaction from this level. So we did respond to this. We fell short of completing this, and now we just kind of completed it there. So again, wasn't really expecting this. I thought that we would come down here and move a little bit lower. After looking at this, it's probably going to go to the data highs now. So yeah, the fact that right here, I probably should have waited. It didn't close. And that's the reaction that we got from it. So data highs look like potentially they're in play right now. We have about 3 minutes left. Yeah, just you have to pretty much wait for this candle closure. In 3 minutes, that would be the better trade to take. But yeah, data highs look like they're gonna get tapped. Now I don't know if we're gonna come up here at data highs and then go to data lows. I was not expecting a TGIF scenario, so this is not something I would even been looking for. 936. So the first presented fair value gap has formed the last 3 or 4 days after 936. A lot. Or at 936. So that has been something that has been very apparent to me. You know, this gap here, looks like a viable option if we close above this gap, this 5-minute gap. That's what that looks like to me. And we would have a propulsion block right there as well. So this gap up to this high. But again, we'd have to close above that gap, I think, for it to be a little bit more impactful. Again, might have been too early and rushing and trying to get into this trade. But would like to see this. If we come down here and trade into this, I can't take the trade, but as long as anything else would hold, it would be like this. As long as we didn't trade up there first. Oh, you took NASDAQ shorts? Yeah. Yesterday was a little bit harder day in terms of the shorts, but I did see them there. I didn't trade yesterday at all. I just kind of looked at it this morning. But this to me would be a little bit more, make a little bit more sense based on what we're seeing on a closing basis, especially if we can close above this 5-minute gap. I'm looking pretty much at this gap for entry. I look at this here. If it doesn't just obviously run straight up there, then that's potentially what's going to get taxed. Now once we get up here, not necessarily sure yet what would happen up here. I don't know if we reject. Again, I wasn't looking for that. I don't know if we start to target up there, but this would be something of importance. Just want to see. So this would pretty much be a immediate rebalance on a 5-minute chart. So we'll see what we get here. It's actually at the top end as well. So we did kind of close above it. I want to see if we could trade down into this gap here. It looks like we are kind of respecting this 5-minute gap. I want to see if we can come down This may be a breakaway gap. It may not even trade down there. Trading from the 30-minute chart. Yeah, I mean this 15-minute order block has now been rammed through. Right, we closed above the middle of it. If we take these two, we've closed above the middle of it. So this gap right here, or this order block, has now been invalidated. We did trade up into the new day opening gap up here. I wouldn't have expected us to trade up this deep, honestly, before going lower. If we end up going lower, I would not have expected that, but again, anything is possible. The question is here now, do we create a gap here? Do we create a gap here and then leave this as a 5-minute fair value gap, or a 5-minute breakaway gap? That's a potential. We have 3 minutes left, and this is the gap here that would be eyeing up if we're going to start to attack these data highs. Yeah, we're about 3 minutes left. These wicks, I mean, I know I can't get into the chart of the trade, but these wicks don't concern me, because I think of what we're seeing here, what we're seeing down here, they don't necessarily concern me. I think this is another place for people to try to put maybe their stops up here, and pretty much it come down and then either run up or just run straight up. That's the other option that I kind of see happening right here. So 2 minutes left. I think we may, because this is what the center. Yeah, so I would like to see if we can trade down to there. We may not do that. It may just, you know, run straight up to the highs. I want to look on this chart. Probably should look on there first. So yeah, remember we had this initial SMT there, which I didn't think that it was that important, but because I was looking for a sell side, so that wouldn't have really done anything for me. But it looks like the data highs are where we're gonna go. Usually you have this scenario where you take out the lows and you go to the data highs, but I was not expecting that today. Wasn't expecting a TGIF, so that never came in to my mind in terms of a potential setup to occur there. But yeah, this is probably going to be a breakaway gap. Probably most likely not going to get traded to. Again, it's not impossible, but we have a minute left. Even if we come down in here, I don't think we would trade down that deep. If you look at here, 50% is right there. So as long as you don't, I mean, we don't come all the way up there, which again looks, yeah, I think that's gonna be a breakaway gap. I think if it comes up here before and then comes down here, that is not a good trade. I think pretty much it will run through that. We have 10 minutes for that to close, but we have 33 seconds for this to close. So yeah, these I think are definitely hot right now. This level. Definitely hot. I am watching this wick here, but I'm favoring now that it's probably gonna go up there. Now, does it come back down here this deep before going up there? That I don't know, because now we have a 5-minute fair value gap here. I don't know if it trades below that from where we are. That I don't know, because I look at this as an institutional order flow entry drill on a 5-minute chart. Right here. And then, but I don't know if we trade down this deep. But I don't see that right now. I'm not sure if anything shut off on your end, my end. Oh, the frames just dropped. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with my Wi-Fi. It was just fine, but now it's awful, actually. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, hopefully everything is back to normal. I'm actually not sure. So, you know, this was the first trade I took. I ended up losing. Hopefully the stream went back to normal. I don't know. Something just drastically happened on my end. But I think that everything looks fine now. But I'm not sure. So, you know, after getting stopped out here, this is what I was looking for to see if it could trade down to here. It didn't offer that. We do have a 5-minute fair value gap there, so that's what I would have been looking for in terms of it can get up there, but it left it open. And there's really nothing here for me to take a trade off of. There is an order block here trading to the wick, but there's no gap, so there's really nothing there for that. And we left it open, so it's a breakaway gap on a 5-minute chart, but it's also a breakaway gap on a 1-minute chart. So nothing really there for that in terms of upside objective, and really nothing that, you know, could have got us in. So unfortunately we took this. I thought that we were going to trade down to previous day's low based off of where we were, and you know, I didn't wait for this candle closure, which is what I should have done, but I did not do that, and it ended up closing above. So obviously that's not what we look for. But yeah, even with this, if I would have waited for this, there would have been nothing there for me anyways, unfortunately. So yeah, data highs, this is less likely to occur from basically where it is, but it looks like data highs are now where it's going to trade to and where it's going to target. Now beyond that, I'm not sure. Maybe we come up in this gap one more time. Maybe we run up here and turtle soup it. I don't think we'll be coming up and doing all this today. It's possible, but I don't think that that's, you know, where we'll end up heading to. Yeah. This order block here, again, it's to the wick. This is the whole order block. But yeah, since it's more of a, I guess, there's more wick than body, I guess you would use this. But this is not something I would have taken at all. Not at all. Yeah, very, very, oops. Quick trade, but not quick trade in the favorable position, but that's what happened. That's pretty much what's happened this whole week. It is what it is. It's 36. But yeah, based on where we are, I mean, this is it should go up there. You know, not trading up there would be very yeah, I'd be surprised. So it looks like we're also trading up into, we have, interesting. So the data highs are actually inside of yesterday's first presented fair value gap. So this high exactly is yesterday's first presented fair value gap. That's where we are. That's what we have. So we'll see here. This is I think this is nice here. We may get this 5 minute trade down into this gap. We could get that without trying to chase it, but the wicks, to me, we'll see. I think these are in jeopardy based off of where it's at. So we can put the we can put back the hypothetical trade. I actually kind of like how quickly it is trading down, but this would be like the, what is it, 956? Yeah, propulsion block, expect that to stay open. Yeah, so that would be the, I'll say, the new trade idea. It's also in the upper portion of this. Let me show you this. It's in the upper portion of this too. So that's kind of what I like here. We do have this, which is SMT. Here. So we do have that indication there. Now, does it just trade? Yeah, sells need to push here. Yeah, so this, for us to get this close to this high is very interesting to me. I think that, yeah, I don't know, like us trading up this high and coming back into it, obviously that's has the ability to do that anyways, so it can come up here and then actually just steamroll over and take all this stuff out down here. What I am watching though is this 5 minute gap, which is pretty much this inverse gap, and then you also have this 5 minute fair value gap right here. Now the bodies did close above here, but if we do look at the wick, it hit consequent encroachment of that wick, so that's also very interesting there. But I think that this 5 minute gap is going to be a telltale sign pretty much if we just ran up here, failed here, because none of them actually traded above their data highs yet. None of them have done that. So trading down into this gap is going to be just very interesting. How deep do we even trade down into it? Can we even trade down into it? So that's what we're watching here, I guess, is more like the reaction, what we get here. You know, looking for, so now we're inside the 5 minute gap. We just took out its low right here. How deep are we able to trade into it? Because preferably if I'm in trades and I want to see them pan out, I want to see the upper portion here hold price and it not allowed to trade lower. The only reason why I would like this is because of where, we have a gap that overlaps with this propulsion block here. So it may come down here and scream up higher. We are inside the macro though, so it needs to be aware of that as well. The macro is from 950 to 1010. So this would be like where the, I'll say, other entry would have been, would be this area right here. But we'll see kind of what happens here. I mean, it going back all the way up here and then coming down, not ideal. We do have a 15-minute gap, but look how it's already pretty much completely closed this 15-minute gap, and it's traded right through this 5-minute gap. So that's obviously not concerning, or that's very concerning, at least for upside objective. I do think data highs are in potential to trade up here, but you know, we'll see what ends up happening here. I mean, I'm not in the trade here, so I already took a loss today trying to short, and didn't necessarily get that. So on the 5-minute chart, we do have this. This is technically a propulsion block. It's a propulsion block right there on the 5-minute chart. That's at the middle of the 15-minute order block, or 15-minute fair value gap, which I find very interesting. But we'll see what happens here. So it's a 5-minute propulsion block. That's not what I'm meant to do. So something that I have noticed also in the last couple of trades that I have been taking, and personally why I believe that I have been taking a little bit more losses, is I haven't been doing what I normally do, which is waiting for this, what you're seeing right here. So the propulsion block here that overlaps with the 15-minute gap, that's what I was trading and how I was trading before. And I don't know, for whatever reason right now, that I have kind of gotten away from that. But this, I believe the highs are in jeopardy based off this propulsion block, based off where it is located inside the 15-minute fair value gap. This, I mean, I almost would have got stopped out anyways. But this is where the entry for higher prices should have been. You know, basically waiting and watching this, because then you have a 15-minute gap that overlaps with the propulsion block, which overlaps with this gap. Look at the bodies, at least as of right now. That's normally the trades that I was taking. For whatever reason this week, I haven't been waiting for that at all. And I've noticed that in my trading. So again, always a learning experience there. But that's something I have very, very noticed a lot the last couple of days. Even if this ends up going down here, these are the trade setups that I was taking on the, like when I was doing paper trading, when you guys would see me do that. Those were the trades that I was taking. Can move this over so it's not in the way. Can't really see price. But yeah, I like this body right here. The body is staying in the upper portion here. I do like that. We trade a lot deeper. Again, if we take the whole range, traded below 50%. So here was this gap. Stop loss need to be below this because it was a propulsion block, order block, and I believe that we should start trading up and take out the data high. Those were the trades. Yeah, always a blessing. Yeah. I've noticed that this week. That's something that I've noticed, that the trades that I normally would take are these ones. And the trades that I have been taking are not these ones. So this is an area for improvement for next week, you know. Is to wait and not be too quick to jump into trades. That's something that I have noticed this week. And even if this loses, it is what it is. But that's what I would be waiting for. This. And it would have definitely traded a lot deeper than what I would have expected. But we have a propulsion block down there. Usually when I have a propulsion block in my trades, they tend not to lose actually when I take them. But you know, anything can happen. There's a lot of wicks here on a 15-minute chart. There's a lot of wicks trading up into this hourly fair value gap, so something just to be aware of. Again, now I would want to see this order block specifically here on the 1 minute chart hold. This would be an order block. I don't know why I can't find it right here. This 1 minute order block should hold. I'm gonna take this EO Fed off. Just a little bit too much going on there. And put this on current interval only. And this should have been the trade that I would have taken here. Because everything in my eyes is overlapping there. And so these are very clear and obvious. We left it. I said I didn't think that the wicks were of importance there. We had an order block now that we traded down into. I would expect to see it start to move away with some speed and see if we can attack these highs, the data high right now. Let's just leave that out the way. I don't need this on. It's not a trade. But we know we were looking for this gap here on the 1 minute chart to hold price. Here, I don't like this because there's a gap here. I want to see us kind of close above that. Not a fan of that. We do have this gap again here. A volume imbalance, sorry, right there. But I want to see us close above this fair value gap because that's not conducive of going higher. But I like where the body's closed here on the inverse fair value gap here. It closed in the upper portion. So for me, that's a nice trade opportunity there. This I'm pointing out here is the macro. So this is 950 to 1010. And so we'd be looking for data highs from this gap right here. Again, traded a lot deeper than I would have thought or what I would have wanted. But we need to get above this, especially on a 1 minute chart on a closing basis. I don't know why this thing isn't working. Here. Close above that. That's an IFVG. Trust me, we're going to come back better next week because I know what I need to improve on. I can see it. So I like this, but we need to hold this. We can't come back down and run through this. You know, we have immediate rebalance here, so I like to see us shoot higher with some speed now. And then when we start getting, if it's possible, we can start getting close to this. I'd want to see large range candles expand higher. For me, something of concern, if I was buying here, something of concern would be coming back down into this. It's possible, but coming back down into this order block here, I wouldn't necessarily want to see us do that. And then getting like too deep, that's not a conducive for this buying opportunity. Again, I'm watching, just look on this time frame. Where is it? The wicks. There's a lot of wicks there. But I do like where we have 5 minutes left, and basically where we are, I do like that. If we were flipped in 5 minutes and we were down here, this trade I would not necessarily like at all, because we'd be too deep. Next couple candles, I'd want to see some large expansion. We did trade back up into the new day opening gap. We did trade up into that, but I'm thinking that we'll still attack here first and the data highs as well. Yeah, because if you look at this trade setup I took down here, there isn't that cohesiveness with all of the charts, and that's how I take that. Like, that's my setup there, is when they're all cohesive. This is not cohesive right here. So I know what I need to fix for going into next week. I just need to be more patient and wait. Need to wait more. And not chase the setup, just let it come to me. Personally, too much stalling here. Too much stalling. We would have been in the trade for 11 minutes, and we haven't really gone too far. So I would be a little bit concerned on what it's doing based off of the metrics that I have personally. It's a little bit too much. We're not showing the we showed a nice responsiveness right here. We did trade pretty deep down into here, but keep continuing to come back in here isn't ideal. At this 5-minute inverse gap, it's not ideal. We have 2 minutes left. Again, like right now, like where my entry would be here, but 2 minutes and 15 minutes, we would have come here, come all the way back up, and then came back down here. I wouldn't really like that. You know, where the bodies, I mean, I do like this. At least we're on the 15-minute chart, kind of what it looks like here on the 5-minute chart. I don't like that as much. But yeah, based on where the bodies are, is where I'm mostly looking at. Yeah, coming back down there to me is not. Don't want to see that in a long trade. From what it's already done, right? That's the point that I'm making. It's doing too much. It should have already been kind of going up there, which is what it wasn't doing. So the fact that it was not doing that is concerning. So about a minute left into a new 15-minute candle. This is way too deep. Way too deep inside of this. Like at this point, because it's back in here, this needs to run with speed. It can't be sitting here too much. Can't be doing that. So new 15-minute candle here. How do we respond here? If we're able to trade up into this gap, it would need to run through it. Yeah, it can't. This can't just run through this gap. I mean, we're back down at the propulsion block. In my opinion, why? Would not expect that. I don't know why this isn't showing up on there. Oh, there we go. So to me, that's concerning for longs. Very, very concerning. Again, the 15-minute chart. Too much wicks. Too many wicks. Based on what the body is, this closing through that is concerning. Because this is a propulsion block. If it's bullish, it should hold. We just left equal lows here. So now we've traded down into the first presented fair value gap again. Man, this is too deep for a long position, in my opinion. Again, this needs to run away with some speed below here, because this is the first presented fair value gap that got formed at 936. We hit that. We left equal lows. This would need to run away. This gap would need to be disrespected. This one need to be disrespected, and we would need to see speed going higher if that's the case. Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case based on how heavy it actually looks. Because we ran through this inverse gap. We've ran through this order block. And when I said if we got too close down here and coming back into this, it doesn't make any sense to do that. So we're seeing disrespect of bullish arrays. And now it looks like we're seeing a little bit more respect of bearish arrays. I mean, coming down into this gap and then going all the way back up here, I don't know. I don't know about that one, because this is previous day's low. This is where more liquidity is probably right here than above the data highs. We have a minute left. Wait, what level is? Oh, this is the order block. I mean, trust me, I would honestly be shocked if it responds here and goes all the way up here. I would be very, very shocked. We ran through this propulsion block. We're running back down into this order block again. Yeah, I'd be surprised. Again, it's unfortunate, but most of the days that we traded in have just gone sideways. But again, we'll see here. And that's a deep retracement. Let's just note this so we know what this is. It's a 5-minute order block there. We have a propulsion block that was right now kind of just ran through. It first had initial response from it here, then we came down again. So I mean, the bodies are respecting this. This is inside the first presented fair value gap, but not I don't think ideal for a long right now. The 5-minute chart, we've closed back through the inverse gap. and we have this low, this low, this low, and then our previous day's low. This is what I was kind of afraid of getting caught inside of before 12:30, but thought that we could come here and tag down there first. But yeah, this is jumbo mess right now. Yeah, teacher, where'd you short from? Were you in prior to 9:30, or were you in there actually at 9:30? Yeah, where's consolidating right here? I think it's just gonna punch below this. I mean, we're consolidating below this low. A little bit too much for my liking. Tagged me in IG? Alright, cool, cool. I'll peep it. Oh, bad. Okay. I see it. Yeah, that's a nice sell. Yeah, in the gap. Yeah, my thought process is, I mean, we're down here too much for too long, and we have daily liquidity sitting right here, so it should punch through that. Yeah, this isn't, to me, identifying turtle soup here. I don't see that happening. Again, it could, but yeah, very weird day, to be honest. We take data lows, we come up here, we fail up here, and then we come back down. And yeah, just very interesting stuff in terms of the day. We ran through this gap, ran through this again. We ran down here one more time. Yeah, it's just today, this week has been very interesting price action, I will say that. Very, very interesting price action. We consolidated at the midpoint of the opening range gap. And there's a 5-minute fair value gap there as well, which it traded into. You see that? With the 1-minute gap there. That's in the lower portion. So let's change this to here. But yeah, it's just been a little bit more tricky. But yes, we have a 5-minute gap there. This would now be, this is now not an inverse. It'd be a reclaim gap. Where is it? Reclaim fair value gap. We ran through it here, and then we create another gap here. There's an inverse gap there, and then we came up to a 5-minute gap. Again, like us coming up here and doing all this stuff, it's very weird in my opinion. But I think this is why it's very weird and acting like this is because we have PAL at 12:30. That's what my thought process is why it's like that. The sound is breaking? Yeah, I don't know. Something's been wrong today. I'm not sure why. I haven't changed anything. Haven't touched anything. Yeah, I think this is the result of PAL speaking, because we're being held right now. I don't think this is relevant. I also don't think this is relevant at this point. Is it better? Does it sound better? Yeah, I'm thinking post, because also look at, like, let's look at Dow. Dow's showing a little bit more strength than these two are. This is just deep into the gap. This is also very, very deep into the gap. But I'm believing that these lows here are in jeopardy right now. Hopefully the sound is better. I don't know. I'm not changing anything. I haven't changed one thing. On my end, everything looks good, but I'm not sure. Just let me know. Yeah, that was a nice trade, teacher. Very nice trade. So we had the right direction. You know, we tried the short early on, just ran all the way up there. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Just happens. But I know where I need to improve on for next week. But this is crazy. Yeah, it's clearly being held right now. Previous day's low. Makes more sense to come down here, but are we just gonna hold this range until until Powell speaks? That I don't know. That I'm not sure about. But now we have this closure here as well, so there's a 5-minute. It may run now, which is good. Hopefully it does something. But this is the, I'll put the low end actually. This is, and there's a little slight fair value gap right here. Slight gap. Okay, sounds better. Thank you. 5-minute order block. So slight gap there, but hopefully we can just run down and take this out. If we do that, I'll definitely I'm gonna get off because I don't feel like sitting watching this go back and forth the whole day. But yeah, previous day's low. I'm more like, or I like that. Basically what we're seeing here, again, we're taking a long here and then it coming back down there was not likely. Okay, we finally hit the low there, and we should expand through. We do have SMT, but I think we should expand through this this low with some speed, not just nothing. And we should, because we left the high, we left the data highs in, which means that we should see some movement below. Ultimately what we were looking for, I mean, who knows if it can get there today. This is a weekly low. That's pretty close. Does it get there today? I don't think so, but anything can happen. But yeah, this is the trade for it to end up going lower, the better one. Inside a 5-minute for value gap and a reclaim, so you have all that over there. But in terms of this one, the 15-minute with the wicks, I guess, was kind of showing a little bit of that. But we should get expansion. I mean, we're looking for a short here, and pretty much the trade where it's trading to right now, it just went higher before going lower. That's been like the story of this week. It's just gone up higher and then gone where we were going, but it is what it is. Teacher, great short, man. It's a great short. But yeah, it's expanding with a lot of speed right now. That's what we wanted to see here, but we didn't get that. It came back up here and then 1 minute fair value gap with this, and then now expanded lower. But it is what it is. Yeah, we'll be back next week, stronger, better than ever. I haven't looked at the schedule actually. Let me see. So next week we have CPI, and so we'll be looking to trade Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So Monday, Tuesday I'll be off. I won't be trading at all. I'll just show you guys. It's pretty much how I look at my weeks and how I identify the days that I want to trade. I look for the high impact news events and I trade after them. So that's why it's Wednesday. I know we have job jolt opening on Tuesday. Not really necessarily as interested in that, but yeah, more likely going to be trading on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. That's kind of what the plan is. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for being on. I'll see you guys next week on Wednesday is when I'll trade at post. I think it was CPI. I appreciate everyone for being on, and I hope you guys have a great day and also a great weekend. Peace out.